Okay, in this video I'm going to cover the new pattern direction called probability. And what probability does is determines the probability that we will move to the next step in the pattern or go back to the previous step. So to begin with, I've got a pattern programmed in here, a 16-step pattern that's controlling the Avalon baseline. So let's hear what that sounds like. And right now it's just playing in the forward direction, so it's looping. So to begin with, let's go into function mode and change the direction of the pattern. We can see right now it's in the forward direction, so let's go to probability. So now we're at probability 100, which means there's a 100% chance that we go to the next step in the pattern, which is essentially the forwards direction. So we'll use knob 2 to change the probability. Let's change it to 90. So now there's a 90% chance that we go to the next step and a 10% chance we go to the previous step, which makes it play mostly forwards, and then every once in a while it'll skip backwards. So let's unmute a drum track so we can hear the relationship of a 4/4 beat to the pattern. So because the pattern every once in a while will play the previous step, that means that the pattern will go out of sync with the drum pattern, which may not be what we want. So one way we can use pattern chaining to force the pattern to play from step 1 every time the pattern moves to the next pattern in the chain. So to do that, I'm going to create a pattern chain. So the first thing I'm going to do is copy this pattern into a new pattern slot. So we'll use function copy in the pattern we want to copy, and then paste it into a new pattern slot. And then we'll create a pattern chain of those two patterns. So you can already hear that when the downbeat hits on beat 1, the pattern resyncs to step 1 of the pattern and then plays with probability. So let's make that a little more interesting by transposing the second pattern in the chain. So we'll now edit pattern 2 in the chain. Let's apply transpose to it. So now you can hear that it's mostly in sync with the drums, but we get some random variation based on the probability. But then we always come back to step 1 when the chain loops, which makes it stay in sync with the drum patterns. So now we can go and change the probability to be something even more random. So let's go back into function mode and pattern direction, and let's change the pattern direction to 50. So now with 50% probability, that means there's a 50% chance it will go forwards and a 50% chance it'll go backwards, which makes the pattern play a lot more randomly. But you can still hear, because of the pattern chaining, it starts from step 1 again. So we can change that to a different probability. So that's the probability direction.